to get some insight into some other people's lives. Like, I want to see what you're doing to potentially benefit my life, you know, and whether somebody listens to this right now or 100 years from now on, right? That's kind of like the purpose of why we're doing what we're doing right now.
Definitely.
And like, it's kind of crazy because like where I'm at in my life right now, right? Like, it's so easy to slip, you know?
Yeah, and
like,
I have to.
Yeah, like you could climb a mountain, right? You could climb a fucking mountain, and like next thing you know, you're fucking slipping and struggling to get yourself up.
That's just
and
life, you know?
and that's kind of, I won't say that's where I'm at right now. Like, by no means. Also, I guess it would help to mention, you know, because like you are not necessarily a punctual, but like you are a man of your word. I can tell by your demeanor, the way you present yourself. And one thing that right now I'm very ashamed of is the fact that like for anyone that is listening, or whether it's future Eric that's going to be listening to this, right, is the fact that I had to get waking up. And even prior to that too, it was like the fact that you were the one that was like, hey, what time is this at? And like, there's so much that I have to develop and like grow in myself, right? That I have to be like, you know what? Like, I'm the one that is like worthy, like not worthy. Like, I am the one that like has requested your time. The one that has made, or not necessarily made no effort, but like I'm the one that was like, hey, you know what? I want your time, and I didn't respect it. You know, like I really didn't. Like, if I'm being honest, and that's something that I have to like own up to, and it's not easy saying it because it's just like,
That's true. I respect that.
Who's gonna be like, yeah, like yeah, fuck yeah, like I'm fucking about, like, no, like I really fucked this up, and like in a sense, like I don't want to be a person that's like, yeah, like I'm all high and mighty, by no means, right? And I guess that's kind of where I'm trying to get at, is this point where you can slip off the mountain, like your journey, right, so easily. Like, I don't know if you have gone on many heights, right?
Definitely.
And you can make these metaphors of like, oh, you're climbing some mountain or 14 or whatever you want to say, and next thing you know, you just fucking start stumbling down, right? And I think that's what injuries, in a sense, have kind of caused you, you know, because you, for one, like, I noticed that I couldn't work out. Like, I mean, I could do push-ups or pull-ups, right?
But it's not the same.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not like I can go to the gym and really push myself, right?
Yeah.
Like, and just like, oh yeah, I feel fucking great. There's something about working out that like there's something to be said about it, right? And right now, like, I'm in this point where like I really can't, or like I can do push-ups. I could walk around the block maybe, right? But injuries really are something to be, I don't know, feared at this point. Like, I'm like, when it comes to that shit, I do kind of get scared. I'm like, fuck, this kind of fucking blows, right? Because prior to this, right, like prior to me meeting you, the time that I like made those things, like I like to think that I was in this flow of like, yup, I'm getting things going, right? I'm in a good state. Like, I'm going to the gym, I'm eating well, I'm doing these things, I'm doing good in work. But it's so easy to like fall off that, dude.
It is, yeah. That's life too, you know. That's just like when, you know, you're making like investment. That's I've been trying to get into that a lot now, and it's just, you can make a huge bunch of money, and then in a second, it just goes down. You know, it's just like just life lessons that you learn, that it just teaches you like you're doing good, but at some point, it's just, I don't know how to put it. It's just like, it's just how us humans are, you know. It's just teaching us what to do and how to improve, you know. But just like, so like you're just getting hurt now and stuff, and with if the lesson that I feel like that teaches people is just knowing what to change, you know, while you are getting why you're getting better, you know. So like right now, that's the mental health, you know. So that mental health is like, I just feel like that the injury with athletes or with people that work out a lot, it brings us down mentally as well, you know. So you just like, what do I need to change? So I need to be more confident, you know. Even if I'm hurt, it's just a setback. It's not like, oh, my life is over and everything like that, you know. It's just a setback to what is gonna beat you up, you know. You're just rethinking your life over, or rethinking everything that you've been doing all over again. Just like, okay, what have I been doing while I'm hurt, you know? Have I been bringing myself down? Have I been like negative towards myself or other people, you know? So it's just for the next time, because I get hurt every time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's inevitable, you know. It's just something that happens. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna hurt myself today. No.
You know what I kind of, after you said that, is like, I identify as a person that's like able and like pushes the limit. And as soon as that's not the thing, right, that identity breaks and I'm not me anymore, because
Exactly.
like I'm no longer pushing limits. I'm no longer like Eric the, like, I don't know, going out there doing crazy shit, right? I'm now inside and just like chilling, and I'm like, fuck, like I don't like that, you know. And it is tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
It's not something that like I can say that it's easy to just come across or to pass by or anything like that, but it's not something that I was expecting, you know. And like injuries I've had, like, this is an injury where a doctor recommended like, just chill
Rest.
out,
Yeah.
you know, chill out, rest, like don't worry about it. And that's the thing that I needed at the same time, but at the same time, like, it does suck because like I don't want to rest. Like, I want to be active. I want to go like just run midday or like after work, right, type of thing. And also one thing that like kind of fucked me up was like the fact that the routine broke. You know?
Oh, that's the worst.
The fact that like now I'm waking up at whatever time. I really don't have anything to be doing like at any point, right? Compared to like prior, like I would wake up very early, like let's say 6 o'clock, right? And then I'd log into work and I'd start working. Then I have a finish time of like, let's say 3:30, 4 o'clock. Next thing you know, I'm going working out, doing these things. And now that routine is like the chain is broken, right? And like, I guess now that I think about it, like how do we, for one, if we can help myself get back on the horse, because I have to get back on the horse, right?
Definitely.
Come this coming up Monday, right? Like I have to get back to work. I have to start doing these things, right? And for everyone else too, like once you break a habit, how do you get back into habits, you know? So like I think that's a great topic to try to get onto. And like for one, I think everyone should know that like just in general, I feel like you have excellent discipline. I don't know why, but you have that demeanor. You have a certain persona that says like, I am disciplined, you know. For one, like your aesthetic, like in your body, the way you carry yourself, like there's a lot of certain things about you that just says like, and even you were like, yo, I woke up like at 4 a.m, not by choice, but just because my body told me, right?
My body just tells me.
And at one point, like these are things of habit, right? And I bet you have like a lot of other contracts, we'll say, that you carry with yourself, like contracts in the sense of like no drinking or no whatever else. That's what I would assume. You've never told me these things, right? But I guess that's something that I would want to learn, is like, for one, I guess if you were in a situation of like, or injury, you probably have injuries before.
Definitely.
And also at the same time, like there's a lot to be said about who you are. Like you are beyond an athlete. You are a scholar. And I think you have a lot of great like ambitions, and also noble ambitions, you know, because you, from what I recall, your end-all goal isn't to help yourself and be a millionaire and have a yacht and have a Ferrari, a yacht. It's to help other people, to go back to Africa and to not necessarily be a prime minister, right? But
just because there's a lot of smart people in Africa, man. It's just a lot of African youths. They have degrees, but they are cleaning shoes, or pump on the side of the street selling water and stuff because the government is not giving them that chance to or the job out there, So the biggest thing is just going back and not necessarily having the government to help, but to give us to say, okay, Africa is always hot. That's number one. There's always sun. The sun is always out. So why aren't we using the resources that we have? A lot of us are not using the resources that we have. There are, or if we have resources, they use it to benefit themselves, but not others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To benefit the government and take the money. So what I've always been thinking is India has a lot of scholars, a lot of tech people, just like how Sierra Leone or South Africa or Nigeria, they have smart people, computers, engineers, architects, So why can't we use that to help each other,
Absolutely.
So, for example, the thing that I've been thinking about a lot, and I've just right now with the physics and energy science that I'm doing in school, it's helping me improve how to do renewable energy the easier way, or building solar panels cheaper.
Is that something you're studying in school?
Yeah. How to just the resources. Africa has all of the resources in the world right now.
It's crazy how big Africa is, man.
Right now, we have it. And somehow we're still the poorest country in the world. Well, the poorest continent. And a lot of countries in Africa are still the poorest countries in the world.
Tell me your story. I want to know, if we were in an elevator and I was a super rich billionaire, right? And I wanted to know more about you. What's your story? Day zero to where you're at right now.
Well, I was born in the northern side of Nigeria, and the culture there is.
So you're born in Africa?
Yeah, I was born in Nigeria.
Okay.
Moved here 2009 when I was 13. I mean, my grandpa has been here since the 90s and export, import, a farmer as well. And my uncles and my dad have been here since late 90s, early 2000s. And I grew up with my mom. And
single mom?
Basically. Yeah, well, my dad is here all year and then comes to Nigeria for 3 weeks during the December.
What's he do?
Christmas. Well, my dad right now works with kidneys and stuff like that.
Kidneys? Doctor?
Yeah, I mean,
I hope
he
not
went
just...
he went to school. He went to school to focus on how kidneys work and stuff like that. I really didn't. Well, me and my dad really did not talk. So.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, I didn't have that relationship. We didn't have that relationship with them. Growing up, I always talked to my mom, and my dad is in America working for us. And I just feel like it's what I grew up with. I grew up with relating more to my mom, not my dad. And when my dad comes to Nigeria for that 3 weeks in December, he wants to have fun. He wants to visit his friends, do all of that. He doesn't really focus on his kids.
That must have been hard on your mom.
Really hard, definitely. I mean, she was basically a single mom, basically, but with her husband, and that's the thing about immigrants. It's awful on the kids. That's why I think.
Was he a role model in a sense, but because the reason I ask that is because I see that with my dad, right? It's I see him not necessarily as a role model of someone to be but someone to be not like. And it's kind of crazy to say that.
That's exactly my thought.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, even speaking it into existence. But that's kind of like the truth of like, it's not that like, there's the qualities of my father that like I've seen. Like he was a weekend dad, right? The last times I saw him, in the sense of like, we would go out to the movies, we would go to the park, do fun things, right? But like at the end of the day, like his commitment, like if he wanted to be here, he could be here, you know. Like my mom made the effort to be here right now, right? Like she was in the same boat as him, but whether it was situational that he wasn't able to be here, but at the same time it's just like, fuck, like you want to be better, you know. So like, would you say your dad in a sense was like an anti-role model?
In certain ways, yeah. I mean, I still, without him and without his part of the family, I wouldn't be here, right? Like I wouldn't be in America. So I thank God for him that he's in my life, you know. But at the same time, I feel like I did not have the relationship that I wanted with him, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, my mom was there, and I learned a lot of things from my mom. Discipline, that's one. She basically raised my brother and I and my sister.
Did she make you make your bed in the morning? I asked because
she makes us clean. When I was at home, she would make you clean the bathroom every week. Every weekend.
Shit.
Sweep. Like I had chores every weekend. And I thank God for that, because that's what right now my bathroom. I live with 3 other roommates right now. And he's never cleaned the bathroom.
Your brothers?
No. Like my roommates.
Oh, gotcha.
They never clean the bathroom. But every week, just because that's what I have, that's what I've grown up with. I hate seeing restrooms and bathrooms like dirty. So even though I don't want to, I'm like, I gotta clean this. But if I live alone, I more than likely will like just be happy to do it every weekend. You know. But having other people with me, I'm just like, I want to do this every week, but I don't want to feel like I'm slaving myself for y'all.
Exactly. I could see that. I can relate on many different levels. I'm assuming you're also very organized too.
Oh man,
like obsessively almost. Some would say OCD.
like perfect story. Right now we're moving out because our lease ends on the 12th of next month, and my landlord just brings people over and to look at the places and stuff. And this woman was just like, "Is this room and the other room the same size?" I'm like, "Yeah, the same size." And I'm not joking. She said, "Oh, you're just more organized, huh?" Because my room looked a lot bigger.
It looked spacious.
Yeah, it looked a lot bigger. And one of the technician that was doing our fan and stuff, he's just like, "Are you in the military?" I'm like, "No." It's like, everything's all cleaned out. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, like a clustered room, I feel like is
a dirty mind type of thing.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it like all mean and everything like that for people.
No, but I think that's an advantage. I feel like everyone should try to like emulate that, you know, in the sense of like, if you have a clean space with no clutter, it makes your thinking process just a lot simpler, you know. It's just like, okay, for one, it removes like a certain level of like discomfort, you know, because like if you have on the complete opposite, right, is like you have a very dirty room, right, and everything's disorganized, and it almost seems like you're like for me, anytime my room is disorganized or like super dirty, I'm like, I just feel like my life is out of order, you know. It's just like there's something weird going on right now, and I need to clean up, you know. And I think most of I would almost bet people who are depressed have like dirty rooms. Like I hate to like be generalizing or any, and in that sense there could be people that are not depressed and have clean rooms, right? But I think that's something that everyone, just like also general hygiene, you know, like clean yourself, brushing your teeth, flossing your teeth, right? There are certain things that like take effort that it's just like people just don't do because I don't want to call it laziness, but they just don't have a certain reason to do it, right? Like, because flossing your teeth takes time.
I just feel like it's discipline. A lot of
discipline,
things,
and that's the thing.
A lot of things are discipline.
Yes.
It's just
everything is discipline.
Literally
everything.
And, like,
eating well, like waking up early. Everything. Life is all about discipline.
Like going from eating meat every time and being a vegan.
Oh, bro, we gotta talk about that.
Biggest discipline.
Let's talk about that right now.
Oh my god, I was cranky to the point where.
What's your weight at right now, too?
168.
168.
But I am just the best shape of my life.
And vegan.
The best shape.
Shit.
I promise you. Like, even like right now, like everyone that sees me in the gym is like, "Do you compete? Do you like?" I get that before, but now it's just like it's just more of a feeling to it. It's like, do you compete? Do you compete? Like, no, I do not compete. It's just the way that I want to educate myself. You know, the reason why I stopped eating meat a lot is the way meat is processed here compared to Africa. Africa is animals are just everywhere. You just buy one and you know for sure there's no chemicals in them. There's no like other injected steroids to make their meat or to make them look bigger.
Make them plump.
And that make them plump. You know, it's just everything there is more natural. Like the food, the meat there, you know, that is something that when you see a lot of I don't want to like generalize Africans being like, oh, but a lot of Africans look naturally fit.
And just FYI, everyone, you're not watching this, but he made this like gesture of being like swole. So he's trying to say that Africans are swole, and I'm not gonna lie. Also, do you know who Francis Ngannou is?
The UFC fighter?
Yes, dude.
The Nigerian guy?
Yes, that dude's fucking killer.
It's
or Kamaru Usman?
Yeah.
Bro, those dudes are specimens. And you look exactly like him. You would be, at 168, you would, I don't know, like, if you were to dehydrate yourself, like, because I don't know if you know, like, how UFC fighters... like fighters in general, it's water weight, and they dehydrate come fights, and then they plump up afterwards. But like 170 is where Kamaru Usman is, right? So that's like his weight, and then I want to say 160.
I really don't even know your weight, but I've seen their highlights.
But yeah, dude, they're cold,
insane.
bro. They're cold. They're cold, and there's 3 African like champions.
Yeah,
it's
and the
crazy.
The much heavier weight guy.
There's Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, I don't.
Bro, you got to get into it. Out of all people, out of all people too, I feel like you would really enjoy practicing kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I think that
dude,
for capoeira.
You would be, for one, you would be cold, and second, it's just like you would fucking just like. Because I remember also like rock climbing, bro. We got to get into that too as well. I have my gear upstairs. Like I have all this shit to do it out in nature, right? For one, I'm not a pro, so I gotta learn from pros before I could take people out. So I'm not there yet, but at the same time, like going to rock climbing gyms and doing. Rock climbers have skills too, like there's some shit where you're like fucking like bring your fucking foot to like doing some weird ass maneuvers, right? There's actual I would say athleticism in the sport because it is a sport. It's gonna be in the Olympics this year too, like rock climbing is.
Wow.
And that is something that I kind of like. Also, I guess just for everyone's knowledge, like that's something that we did do. I want to say it was 2 years, like 2.5 years ago. It's been it's been a while. Isn't it crazy?
That was really fun.
It's been a long. Yeah. It's been some time. It's been some fucking time. It was at the Denver Bouldering Club, and
that was incredible. I liked it. It's just anything that.
Bro, imagine being outside though. Now that's a different type of thrill. It's scary too, bro.
Because
it's fucking
when you
scary.
Fall down, you're falling down on.
There's like you have a harness, right? You have a harness. You're tied up to something, so if you fall, you get caught.
I guess there's a difference between freestyle because the freestyle.
Free solo. That's what you're referring to. Free solo is like there's a very famous climber. His name is Alex Honnold.
The documentary one that I watched.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just like,
that dude's a savage.
That is incredible.
Granted, that is what discipline gets you.
Yeah.
Like once you are disciplined to the max, once you because he conquered that wall, the one that he free soloed, he had done it many times with a rope, right? He failed many times. He climbed it. He knew every crevice, everywhere to climb, everywhere to touch, whatever, right? And it's just his discipline, you know?
Yeah, and I really just feel like a lot of, for example, just waking up at 4 o'clock. There's a lot of people that want to get in shape, you know, and I've seen that. And I've seen a lot of people wanting to get in shape, but they lose that motivation.
Motivation's temporary, right?
And that discipline is just
even
permanent. Even when you're not
or it can be permanent.
Even when you're not motivated, you know, to do something, it's just like, shoot, I still have to do it. You know, with me, I'm not really doing any competitions right now and stuff, but to get to the point where I'm just naturally waking up at 4 o'clock, that I had my alarm helped me a lot too, because like I would wake up at 4 sometimes at 4 and just feel like, wow, I don't want to go anywhere. For example, 2 weeks ago, or definitely 2 weeks ago, I woke up at 4 and I was just tired. You know, I did not want to do anything that morning, and I found myself scrolling on Instagram for like 20 minutes.
I fucking hate that thing.
I noticed like
20 minutes.
20 minutes, and now it's almost 4:30. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I'm dead serious. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Get up. I did not even think twice, and that's why I uninstalled all my social media.
So divisive, bro. So divisive.
2 weeks ago, I noticed I'm just like scrolling. I was just pretty tired, and at the end of it, 20 minutes later, I just noticed myself like just scrolling
for no reason.
I'm just, dude, get up.
Like I think
like, nope.
Social media is cool, and like you get to see what people are up to, but that only lasts like a minute compared to like everything else, you know, right? Like you see what everyone else is doing, then after that it's like not necessarily ads, but like constant other things that suck you in, and it's just like.
And I get like a lot of people do not know this, but since we're just having this conversation, I'm really self-conscious about myself a lot. That's why I carry myself in a certain, because I really don't like people thinking of me about like, oh, he's not responsible, or in a bad way, you know. That's why I really carry, and I got that from my mom. She carries herself in a way that everyone that knows her, or if you don't even know her, you're like, whoa, who's that woman? And from the time I'm like, oh, I know what people think, and I don't know what people think about my mom and stuff like that. It's just a lot of people think that about her, like she's very disciplined, she doesn't carry herself, like even when she sees an elder in my culture, even here, she sees an elder here, she literally will get on her knees to greet that elder. Even in Aurora Mall, you know, we've seen that, and she's like, just because you're in America doesn't mean that you don't have to respect it, it doesn't mean that your culture is gone, you know. Your culture is with you no matter where you go. So that's why everywhere I go, I make sure to respect. Even if you're a month older than me, you're still older than me, period. I still have to give you that respect first. That's how I grew up, you know?
Yeah.
So I just carry myself in a way that, and that doesn't make me any better than the next man. Trust me. No, everyone has flaws.
I'm assuming you respect everyone, though.
I do respect everyone. Doesn't matter how old you are. Just because you're younger than me doesn't. I've learned something from a 5-year-old. She was teaching me little
patty cake or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. She was like, no, you do it like this. No, you do it like this. And I'm just like, okay. And then all of a sudden, like, we started doing it. Like, oh, I can get it now. I got excited, you know, just because
you're authentic with yourself. Like, you are an authentic person.
Yeah, like, just because, like, a man and I'm older doesn't mean that like I have to carry myself like, no, I don't want to do that. That's kid stuff. Like that's breaking at the end of the day, you're breaking that child's spirit.
Yeah.
You know, because they're excited to do something.
You know what? Also, everyone had their children's spirit broken. Like everyone did. Like,
Yeah,
you did.
yeah,
At one point, you were like, "Yo,
yeah.
you got to grow up. You got to go to school. You got to do these things."
Yeah, yeah.
And we all lost our child spirit of like, just being adventurous, curious, and playful, right? And then that's one thing that I do hate about discipline. Discipline has a lot of great qualities and things that it brings to you, but one thing it does remove is like creativity and playfulness, right? And that's one thing that like
freeness, like you're free, you're living in the moment. Like,
exactly.
That's what I love to do a lot. Just live in the moment. Just.
Do you know of like Buddhism or the practices of Buddhism and like the philosophies of Buddhism by chance?
No.
I'm by no means also an expert. Like that's not something I want to put out there or anything like that. But I am, out of all religions, like especially after like having such a logical brain. Like for one, like I'm an engineer. I think you are, and you're getting your master's, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to get a lot.
Like that's something we gotta fucking be telling the fucking world. Like, I don't think people understand this. This is engineer talk, and like unlikely. Dude, there's so many things that like my brain is tangenting to that it wants to tangent to. Right. For one, it's like the fact that we were able to get to where we're at right now with like the cards that we were dealt, which is so crazy. It's so crazy, and we had the power to do that ourselves, right? Because you had a hand that was crappy, like you didn't have a nice trust fund, or you didn't have all these nice amenities in life, right? You had to work for what you have right now today.
I'm still paying for my school fees
and
now.
Exactly. And it's tragic the fact that that's such a complex of life that like you have to like I was just the last person I interviewed. His name is Kojo. He had like this his story is basically like at one point he had to start paying for his sister's doctorate degree because like no one else was going to do it, and he had the funds to do it. He was working this internship, and like he had money, he saved up, and he was very selfless, right? To the point where he's like, you know what, it doesn't matter like what my state is. I'm comfortable, I'm good right now. If I can help my brothers and sisters right now, and it was his sister at the time, he did it, and it was like no question asked, just I'm going to help you out. Like you want to get your doctorates and you're about it, you should get it.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, and like unfortunately the government and or society doesn't reinforce those things, but it shouldn't. Not at the end of the day, it should be you should have that drive all around, like to be successful and to bring that to your life. But it doesn't hurt also to like have government help you out in those adventures, in those journeys, right? Because why not? Like for me personally, like why am I in debt when I'm providing such a good benefit or like add value to society, right? Like with my job, like with what I do day to day, like I am providing something to society, right? And like it's kind of crappy the fact that like we are in debt in all these other areas but also not in education.
That's like a huge part of capitalism.
Yeah, it's a part of it.
Yeah.
And it's also the fact that education, the price of education rises, but the value has been stagnant this whole time, right? That's my prediction for the next big boom when it comes to like, for one, monetary, because there's going to be money that drives it as well, or that has to drive it, is going to be in the education sector. And I know that like, for one, Apple, I think already does it, like, and Amazon do like their own like educational programs in the sense of like they try to like pay for certain things, but at one point I think third-party companies are going to come in and say, hey, like public education trash, like come through ours and you'll guarantee.
Amazon is doing that too.
Yeah, that's
Amazon is paying, like they do tuition reimbursement for a lot of their workers and stuff.
And you were also mentioning, and for one, I guess I'm just like all over the place, but like before I tangented if that is a word, you away from your story. Bringing nowadays, there's not that much war, and the reason for there not being a lot of war is because now territory isn't as valuable as brain power, right? And the people that occupy the space, right? Before it was like Rome, you're expanding, you're like, I'm trying to grow more crops, I'm trying to get more things from my people, right? But now it's not that case anymore. Now it's like the thing that is of value is the brain power, the
Technology
knowledge.
war.
Exactly.
That's
and
definitely
that's like
something that's going on.
that's the thing that is of power. So like people don't invade countries anymore. People aren't necessarily like, the only countries that do get invaded are countries that are like still have economic prowl in raw resources like oil. This is why you see like Iraq and the Middle East have so much conflict, because there's still a lot of battle between like who has the oil rights for things, right? But as soon as you remove those things, every other country is now valuable more because of what they bring to the table brain wise. And you can't steal that, right? That's like, okay, like you can't have China invade America and next thing you know, like expect them to be like more rich. Like at this point, China's best move is like strategically wise would be to just hold their ground and also try to control like a puppet, right? Like just like not a puppet, but what are those things called? I forget what they're called, but I'm making a gesture with my hands like above the air, my fingers and shit. I forget what they're called, but they're like
those little dolls that dance.
The dolls that dance with your fingers and shit, with the strings or whatever.
Yeah,
I guess you call them puppets in a sense, but that is the thing that's become of value now. It's like the brain power and resources that brings. And when you were talking about Africa being, it has that brain power. It has that. It has a lot of smart, educated, or like smart, ambitious, optimistic people that want to get out of that and or bring Africa to better states. You know, like they want to bring they energy in all these areas of resource, right? And one thing that like Elon Musk is doing is bringing internet to all parts of the world, right? He's like through Starlink and like sending satellites out, he's trying to bring internet to every country. And what that does is like now it brings that, because I wish I had my phone on me, but I don't. But like your phone is basically like God now. It really is. You could ask it anything and it will answer, you know? Prior, you would ask the Bible, right? You would ask like, hey, why doesn't my wife love me? Or like, why do my kids hate me, type of shit, right? And like now you could ask that to Google, and Google will give you millions of answers, right? And that's kind of the resource or what we rely on now. Or like if you have any medical need, like that's what you're asking. But prior, we would ask the Bible. And
like I don't know, like I applaud everyone that's like helping like the third world country doing better, but I really feel like the one thing that they're not focusing on is energy, renewable energy. And everywhere else, even in America, like renewable energy is still used less than coal, than any other energy sources. You know, it's just we have the resources to have renewable energy as our number one source of energy, you know, especially, again, I'm going back to Africa again, especially Africa. If you have renewable energy constant in Africa, Africa will grow, period. It's what they need there, because a lot of companies outsource their customer service to India. Why can't a lot of companies outsource their customer service to Africa? There isn't that energy. You don't want to be talking on the phone with a customer and boom, they take off the light. Because I've lived in Nigeria. You can go 3 months a year, and you can only get like 10 to 5 hours of electricity. I'm not joking. Like, or no electricity at all. So you're using generators, and generators emit a lot of CO2s. Like, they're terrible for their environment, and you hear a lot of people using generators every time. Generators are more expensive to use, and they cause more bad. They cause more bad to the environment. You know, as just like finding the resources and finding like going into it with a lot of companies or a lot of people that has the same mindset, because my message from the beginning is not to make money, and I think that's hard to.
It's an American ideal, man. Making money.
Yeah, but with me, that's the first thing. Like, I'm not trying to make money with this, because money will come. Trust me, it will. Because when you have that infrastructure, when you have that energy source, a lot of companies will be looking at Africa like, hey, they are doing better with their electricity and with their energy, so we should go there, you know, because there's a lot of resources in Africa that can be utilized, you know. But again, going back to the government of Africa, I just feel like they've been closed-minded so much because of the colonization, and even now a lot of African countries are paying the European countries more money. You know, a lot of countries that have been colonized in Africa are still paying a lot of Western countries for being free. And that's what a lot of people do not know, because it's not out there. They're not showing people that. So, like, why can't we get private companies that do a lot of things here? Like Facebook does a lot of things here. Amazon does a lot of things here. They have, I mean, Amazon can, if possible, Amazon do deliver it to other countries. So if we have enough energy and enough resources to see that, oh, Amazon sees us as, okay, they were doing better, we should have a warehouse there. That's money. That's jobs, right? So it's just, it's just a whole lot of things that has to do with government and just capitalism.
Yeah, I was just going to mention.
That, just money.
Capitalism has its pros and cons, right? But it definitely does bring third world countries into the first world. That's one thing capitalism does do. And would you think that, like, your mission and your plan is rooted in government? Like, do you think that's where that's where the solution lies?
Yes. And the reason why that is to do anything, anywhere, I mean, especially in Africa, the government has to be able to approve it. You know? So the plan is to not allow the government to take control. And they take control by giving money. So if they say, we give you this much, and we're expecting 10 times, 100 times more than what we give you, then they have the means to control you. You know? So if you want to do something that they don't like, but it helps people, but they don't want to do it because it won't make them as much money, because we have lands everywhere in Nigeria, and we can build a solar panel farm that will help littler communities, communities where 12-year-old kids are learning so much faster, like there's a lot of smart people.
And with the internet too, I mean, it's just a matter of resources, right? And like thing that the internet and technology brings is like you just need a computer to create, you know.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
this right here is such a valuable resource, and I'm pointing at my computer and like you could change the world with this hunk of technology right here.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you make this available to everyone in the world, you truly unlock everything that is the human potential, right? Because now you have people that are willing and wanting to create things. Because for one, like most of the time when it comes to my creativity and when I come up with ideas, it's out of being very observant, right? It's like seeing the world, taking a moment to stop and be like, how can I make this better, right? You can almost think about it like when I was little, I made this this fucking this chocolate milk mixer. Like I had like a motor from a PS2 controller that I broke apart that I was like, I don't need anymore, right? And like I was like, I want to mix my milk or like my chocolate milk, right? So like, how do I do that, right? So I took apart the control. Granted, this was not how it came to, or I didn't take apart the controller. I did it because of curiosity. I was like, what's in here, right? And I saved some parts, being the motors.
That's how engineers
exactly
they break stuff up.
Yeah, like I took it apart. I was like, what's inside of here, right? It's broken. I can't use it no more, so I'm gonna take it apart. And I have like two motors, and next thing you know, like I just threw them off to the side, and then I wanted to make a chocolate milk mixer, and then like I made like a attachment to the, like out of popsicle sticks, I attached it to like, I mean, like I attached like this little mixer right to the motor, and next thing you know, like I just applied like a 9-volt battery to it, and it mixed, right? But I guess what I'm trying to say is like there's a lot of that ingenuity and creativity because a lot of people in Africa go through that, you know. They have certain struggles in their lives that they're like, fuck, like I wish there was something that could make my life better right now. But technology does debilitate that. But as soon as we get everyone the technological resources that they can use, right, I think that's something of big value that will change the world. Because like there's a lot of smart people, and the fact that they just don't have certain resources really takes away from their potential. But as soon as that happens, and it is going to happen soon, you could see a lot of changes. The thing I'm very fearful though of is like the social media vice that you kind of alluded to and kind of talked to briefly, right? Like Instagram and shit like that, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever that is, right? Where you're just kind of infinitely scrolling, and checking stories or whatever, right? And it's not ideal in the sense of like it really takes away, like I sometimes think about it like as Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, like these great brilliant minds, right, that lived in this earth that we live now, and they developed they discovered such amazing things. But I like to think that like it was because there was a moment in history where there wasn't any distraction, right? There wasn't any like things that stopped you from pursuing further, right? Like now we have social media, and now next thing you know,
technology everywhere.
And a lot of comforts like Netflix, HBO. Now you could literally sit down and watch any TV series you want, right? Instead of like maybe pursuing the laws of physics and whatnot. And that's kind of depressing in the sense that we've lost that that amount of focus. Because I think that's what it comes down to in life is focus, right? Is what you can focus, and it takes discipline. So like obviously, I think it all kind of like trickles down to like what you can put a focus to is of value to you, right, or a priority, because like it's a scarce resource that everyone has.
And it's mainly if I just feel like if social media is not what you make money out of, it's a distraction for me and for a lot of people that I've known. Like,
say that again.
If you're not making money off of social media, it's a distraction.
Absolutely.
Because
If you're not using it, it's using you. Typically.
Exactly. And with me, I found out that, well, I've noticed it's using me more than I'm using the rest of my time, because that 20 minutes that I use of scrolling, I could have used that 20 minutes to doing something else that's productive, that would not make me feel like, dude, you're wasting your time, stop scrolling, you know. But at the end of the day, it comes to that discipline or just being aware of what you're doing, that self-awareness. And I feel like a lot of people do not have that self-awareness when it comes to social media, because you have all of this stuff. With my self-consciousness, I see someone my age having a nice car or a Mercedes or a Tesla, and I'm just like, damn, why don't I have that?
How do you stop that? Like, if we were trying, let's say we were trying to help the rest of the world, right? How do we help? How can someone start changing their life and stop getting used by social media?
You just have to be aware of what you're doing. Honestly, again, a lot of people do not have that
awareness.
Yes, self-awareness. Because without that self-awareness that I have, like, why are you scrolling? Because again, I can be scrolling for like an hour, you know, and still not be aware of, dude, you've just been scrolling for hours and you're not doing anything else with your time that will help you. Because that hour or that 30 minutes of you scrolling, you can use that to learn programming words. Right now, I've been
Isn't your girlfriend also doing programming too?
Cybersecurity. She is so smart. She's incredible.
That's awesome.
She has that brain of cybersecurity stuff that I don't have. And every single time she's telling me, I'm like, huh. Okay,
also, it was super cool that, like, as soon as I mentioned that, like, you kind of lit up. You had this, like,
yes,
and that's awesome, bro. That's
she's
great.
Smart. She is incredible.
For me, it shows that you found something there. You know, there's something there, and that's fucking awesome. So, like, congrats to you.
Thank you.
Seriously, that's awesome, and that you found someone that supports you, loves you, and the fact that you lit up like that brought me joy. I was like, that's awesome. That's great. That's dope.
She is really amazing. Because
what makes her amazing?
One thing, just everything that she does. For example, my credit. That's one thing that's specific. A lot of guys like me, a lot of African Americans guys like me, do not focus on building stuff with their significant other. You know?
Interesting. I think that's everybody.
Okay, let's just say that
every guy,
a lot of people, a lot of young people in a relationship do not build stuff together. You know, with her, when she sees something, she's like, "Oh, we should do that," and then I get excited. You know, like solar panels. I told her about my solar panels and the idea that I have. Like, I want to build cheaper solar panels, because solar panels are not cheap. They're not. We can use like sustainable or sustainable stuff or materials to build cheaper solar panels. And the idea that she's having is so how much is that gonna be? Nobody ever has ever said. Everyone that I said that to, like, before, they would be like, "Oh, that's cool," and then they want to talk about something else. But with her, she was like, "How much is that gonna cost? What is the materials that you're going to use?" And then at the end of the day, I found myself talking to her about solar panels for hours without her even knowing exactly what I'm talking about. But you can tell that she's excited to talk about it, because she wants to build that relationship and she wants to build that mindset with me, you know? And that's what is good about her as well. And with my credit, before, I had a terrible credit, you know? And she talked to me about that, and that's not with my previous exes and stuff. They definitely did not even worry about that. And I was talking to her about my credit and stuff, and she has amazing credit. Like, she's beat that. She's only 21 right now, and she is having like over 750. Like, I don't want to put her stuff out there, but I just want to make sure, like, she is that amazing.
She's on top of her shit.
She's on top of it. I'm just like, so how do I get my credit to be that? And at the end of the day, she helps me build that credit up to the point where, when your credit is good, people start sending you stuff like, can you apply
credit
for this
cards,
credit card? I've
house,
never gotten that.
mortgages
Literally.
and shit.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, I keep getting this email. I'm just like, mails, and I'm like, why am I getting all of this credit stuff? And then, like, they're running your credit. It's getting good now, And I'm just like, this stuff is something that I did not know before.
And she she wants you to be better, and that's something that, like, you want her in a relationship, is someone that makes you better, not someone that just keeps you comfortable, supports you in a sense. Or I guess you do want the support, right? But at the same time, it's just like,
I think telling you how it is.
It's awesome when you compliment one another and like, hey, I want to make you better, and I know that you want to make me better, right? And that's something that is rare. Not necessarily rare, but sometimes through all these filters of life and through social media, sometimes it gets convoluted in the sense of like, now you have a lot of different expectations in life, right? Of like, oh, you have to be rich, you have to be all these things, but it's beautiful when someone loves you for who you are, and also at the same time, like, builds you up. So, like, absolutely cherish and grow what you have. Like, that's something. And I think you were kind of alluding to it, like, not a lot of people kind of pursue that anymore, or like are willing to. I'm reading this book called The Path to Love, right? And a chapter of it is called Surrender, and in the sense of like kind of giving up of the ego, because the ego is something that you're like, you have to be right all the time, certain expectations that you have for yourself, certain self-images, and as soon as you remove that from yourself and surrender and say, hey, you know what, like, take me as I am, and specifically to a significant other, right? You stop overthinking their intentions on things, right? When when your significant other is like, hey, I want you to, let's say you're living together or something, right? And they're like, hey, can you clean the dishes? Like, it's not that they have malice intention of like, hey, he's gonna clean the dishes, so now I got one up on him, right? It's like they genuinely want you to help them out, right? And as soon as you remove those intentions of like, they're trying to manipulate me or all these things, like, oh, they're trying to get up on me, or they're trying to be better or be more dominant than me at this moment, like, as soon as you remove those expectations from your life, I think it's very liberating when you're like, hey, you know what, I know that they need help, or they came to me and they asked for something, and I want to just help them out, because that's what they want, and they don't have any malice intention of like they're trying to get better than me or nothing like that, And I think that's something that sometimes gets missed because of the ego, right? Everyone has an ego. But I don't want to say everyone, because some people have gone and are now, I guess, as you would say, enlightened, like Buddha, right? Type of shit, right? And I guess to circle it back to that, there's a certain, in Buddhist culture, right? It's very nature centric in the sense of like it relates to what is tangible in life. It isn't based on folktale. I guess you could say that about the Bible, or the what is the one for Muslims? I forget what that. The Quran, right? And I'm not saying there's bad things that come with it, but at the same time, like, the thing that attracts me to Buddhism is the fact that it's rooted in like the metaphysical, in the sense it's like, it's the fact that life is in everything, and like there's a certain thing about being kind of, I guess, I don't want you to throw out zen, you know, and be like, oh, you have to be zen. But what I mean by that is just being in the moment, you know, being present with where you're at right now. Your mind could be thinking of a million different things right now. Like, oh, I got homework to do. I got the semester to finish. Like, I got these different things going on. Oh, I gotta get something for my girlfriend after this type of thing. But being 100% present with what you're doing. And that's one thing that children do have, right? That's one thing that, moment. They live in the fucking moment. They are playful, they are active, they are just goofy, they're living in it. And it's through society and through certain contracts that our parents have abided by that we have been trained to be like, that's not the way. But in a sense, we got to try to get back to that, right? Back to those roots of being playful, being unaware of time, and being okay with, like, I'm not saying don't reach for success, but at the same time, be like okay with like just being where you're at right now, you know, because you could always have these ambitions of like striving to do a lot of great things for, like, let's say Africa. For me, like, do a lot of great things for my community here, right? But at the end of the day, it's like you have to be content with where you are right now, because if you're not content with where you are right now, there's something that you can work on, I guess, to make that happen, because there's so many things to be grateful for, you know, like, I guess even for right now talking, like, for one, I felt like complete piece of shit when I realized, for one, that I was like, fuck, I had this shit scheduled, and I was like, damn, it's fuck.
That's the thing with me, like,
no, dude,
I'm like,
dude, it's not you. For one, don't even try to, like, it's not, you did everything that you had to do. I was the one that fucked up there. Like, I don't know if you were gonna be like, yeah, I was gonna be, I'm very punctual. No, you did everything fucking proper, amazing. You are a specimen to be studied, right? You are a great human being. But I guess to speak on those things, it's just like, I know that there's work for me to be done. And for one, I could also be grateful for so many things in my life, right? The fact that I have a bed to go sleep into, that I have this house, that I have this equipment, that I have these plants. I have so many things to be grateful for. As much as I want to hate myself because of these things that I did this morning, and or the consequences of my life yesterday brought me to this point right now, right? If I didn't make those choices that I made yesterday, I would have had everything set up perfectly, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, I think, for one, like, I don't want to give myself a pass of like, I gotta be grateful for what for what this is. But at the same time, it shows me that there's a lot of potential and growth that I can make, you know, because I don't know, I feel like everyone should make those realizations in their life that there is something there's always another level to make yourself better, right? As much as I like to think that I'm at my peak or whatever, but at the same time, I also don't think that, right? But I think you alluded to this also previously when it came to confidence and telling yourself positive things. And
that goes a long way. Like, with me, like, I've had, especially like my dad specifically, like a lot of African dads, they are verbally abusive a lot. Yeah. Like, they will say stuff that, my dad has said stuff that whenever I do something bad, or whenever I do something wrong, or whenever, like, I don't get a question in homework or my assignment, he goes back to my head, like, that voice, his voice is like, you dumb, stupid, blah, 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 you know? Like, that voice just goes back of my head and just brings me down a little bit. At that moment, I'm like, oh, like, you dumb, you stupid, like, get this right, you know?
It hurts.
It does. And I just feel like at that point, it does bring you down, but you just have to study yourself. That's what I've done a lot. I've studied myself with every single thing that I do. When it comes to working out, a lot of people are like, no, like, a lot of people in the gym do not believe me when I say I'm vegan because I do not look, because they think just because you're vegan, you're supposed to be just spear skinny. Like, you eat just, vegetables only. But no. There are other resources, there are other food sources that can get you to the point where you want. You just have to study your body, you know. Like
Yeah.
my body respond more to high protein, so I eat a lot of soybean, a lot of tofu, a lot of like protein shake that has a lot of high protein in it and low carbs. You know, that's how my body puffs up. You know, and sometimes I'm like, okay, today I ate a lot of protein yesterday. Maybe I need more carbs today because my body is not responding to the workout. So I need more energy. And carbs do give you somewhat of an energy.
You're very attentive to your body.
Just be it like from the body to the mind. And sometimes like when I bring myself down, and I do that a lot. I like 10 times, 20 times a day, even at work. You know, when I'm having trouble with like Power BI, you know about Power BI, like Microsoft is...
Power BI?
Yeah, Power BI is an advanced version of Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of it.
So Power BI is like...
VBI, right?
VBI, Power BI, did they change the name? But Power BI is an advanced Excel that you use programming words to analyze data. You know, so a lot of times I don't get a section of the program that I'm trying to do, and I just like bring myself down. You know, I just I knock myself down mentally.
It's because it's almost like those things that you were trained to as you were a kid. Like your dad was like, "Hey, like you're fucking stupid. You gotta get this going."
Exactly.
And now you bring that to your current life, and it's something you gotta. I'm not saying that I know this for a fact, but I would suggest trying to break those contracts that you have internally of like saying like, hey, you're stupid, you're dumb because you don't understand these things, right? Because that's something that like you grew up knowing. Yeah. But as soon as you give yourself a certain amount of comfort and like leeway in those areas, I think it will benefit you in being like, hey, you know what? Like it's okay. Like it's okay that I don't know this right now. And like I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. Like it's just a matter of time, and I just got to put effort and focus in getting it past this point. Because in the end of the day, it's just like we were raised and cultured in a certain way, right? That like you were punished and rewarded, right? You have these certain mechanisms in your life right now that you're like, I gotta please everyone because I'll get rewarded for it, right? I'll get like patted in the back, or I'll have praise from everyone else, or you'll get punished in the sense of like you're not gonna get what you want. But as soon as we remove those things in our life of like punishment and rewards, I think it leads to a beautiful life in the sense of like you no longer have these like contracts with yourself or expectations of like I have to abide by this, like if I didn't do good in these things, you know, and just being patient with yourself, because there's so many things that people can work on right now yourself. Like you're not the most respectful person, but you can be even better, you know, like by all means you are very respectful, but you can work on being even more respectful. You can work on being even more kind. You can work on being even more loyal. You know, there's levels to everything in this. As soon as we like find that out and like understand that like we can always get better in every aspect of life, no matter what it is, I think there's something beautiful in that, right? In the sense of like knowing that you're not complete. And I think even when I die, like I'm not going to be complete. Like there's always going to be something I can work on. There's always going to be something that I can make better in myself, right? And I think that's something that I see through athletes, that athletes always advocate, and like, you know, I'm always trying to get better. I'm in the gym. I'm trying to work on my skills. Like I'm not a complete puzzle type of thing, right? And I think everyone should try to operate in that same sense. Obviously not in your jump shot, not in your throws or your catches or nothing like that, but in the sense of like
just life.
Yeah, life. You know, because there's a lot of things that we can all work on. Being more punctual, being more what is the word? Being more
confident in what you're
confident
doing.
Dude, loving yourself is so tough. It's so tough, but that I know that's a very much a common theme in like our society, and being like, oh yeah, I love myself and all these things, but it's like the act of actually doing it is actually harder than people make it out to be, you know, because And the reason is also because of social media. Why is it?
Thank you.
Why is it? Yeah. Why is it that social media is the thing that's like you have to broadcast? I love myself. You know.
Because
why
who doesn't
is that?
like good stuff? Who doesn't like nice cars? Who doesn't like those rappers that just like hold money in their
Yeah.
even if it's like, do your thing. I do not care what you do. Just and rappers, do your thing.
Yeah.
But the fact I'm like, man, I want to have money. It's just social media contributes to us wanting more and more and more and more,
yeah.
More and more. But at the end of the day, I'm again not having social media for a bit now, like 2 weeks now, and I'm just like, I'm comfortable in my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not struggling to pay my bills. I'm not struggling to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not struggling to sleep. Like, I am comfortable. If I want more, I will work for more. But social media wants just like that fast wanting more,
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to do whatever it is to get that house. You have to do whatever it is right now. Like, it just puts that anxiety into people, and especially me too. Social media does that to me. When I see someone driving a nice car, I'm just like, I want a nice car, and then I'm anxious. Like, dude, why aren't you doing better?
Why aren't you working? Why aren't you?
Like, but at the end of the day, I'm doing what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the step that I can take. Like, I'm comfortable. At the end of the day, I'm sleeping. I'm waking up perfectly fine in the morning and praying. As a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
I've been praying a lot more. Just like, hey, wake up in the morning, don't just scroll on your phone. Like, not having social media. Like, I've noticed myself every time I wake up in the morning, like, one of the first few things I do is my phone.
Yeah.
Just holding my phone on me, like, and then that carries me through the whole day. And right now, I've been just praying a lot, reading a lot more, articles and stuff, and focusing on just new stuff like Ethereum.
Mm-hmm. Cryptocurrency.
I've gotten into that a lot more.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, how are people doing this? Like,
I want to recommend you to someone. His name is a podcast. It's his name is Naval. Naval. And he's probably one of my idols right now in my life. Yeah. Like, he is a role model. He is someone that I aspire to try to be. Not necessarily be, but like certain characteristics of him that I like. I fuck with, right? I 100% recommend looking up some of his cryptocurrency stuff. Yeah. Or like some of his talks with cryptocurrency. I know 100% you'll love him. Sometimes like I even like, it's crazy to say, but like I like kind of hold back his name because like he's so powerful, and like I guarantee you he will change your fucking life. Like. Yeah, like I just because I know I don't know you. I don't know you the way I know myself, and that's what I mean by that, right? But like, you have an intellectual mindset that like what he says makes a lot of fucking sense, and like I really, hopefully a year from now we do this again type of thing, right? And you'll listen to him and see what he has to say. But there's a lot of insight and wisdom that he carries. Apart from cryptocurrency, but he's a great guy. For sure, listen to his podcast. Everyone listening to this, like, I almost feel like I'm giving up a goose egg, like a golden goose, because I'm telling everyone about this person. But he is that amazing of a person to me. Like that dude's fucking awesome. But yeah, cryptocurrency is fucking like, it's dope. Like, I don't think I do it justice, or we can do it justice here, right? That we can go into long chats about it, but I think everyone should try to at least make themselves some money through it. Obviously, I think more so than making yourself some money is learning from it, because there's a lot to be learned from currency in general, like how currency came to be a thing like that. I don't think a lot of people think about that, like why currency is a thing. Why do we have money? Why is money made of cotton? Why is money all these things? There's a lot of things that we take for, or not necessarily take for granted. That's not what I wanted to say, but like there's a lot of things that we just don't know enough about that we should try to learn. But currency is one of those things, and cryptocurrency is I think is like, I guess not necessarily cryptocurrency, but like blockchains, and the fact that you can like you could look up that yourself and investigate in blockchains, but the power that technology has, and this is going to change the world type of thing. I know for a fact cryptocurrency, by the time we're dead, like in generations to go, like that will be something that will dominate the market, and it's cool. It's cool stuff.
Like one of the stuff that I was reading through Robinhood as well is the future of money.
Yeah.
Like 20, 30 years from now. So like, are we going to start using digital money?
Like Venmo, bro.
For example, China. They are having trouble using their own cryptocurrency. Like cryptocurrency is actually like competing with
the yen?
With their own money. So what they're doing now is they're switching their actual money into digital money. Like that's 100% what they're moving forward with, because that's and I'm like, that is crazy and so smart that people will think about that. Like right now, that is the future of how we're going to be spending money. We're not going to be using actual money.
Because if you think about it, like paper money, coins is antiquated.
Yeah.
It's old. That's an old way of doing things. And the fact that we're still using it should go to show that like there's areas to be innovated. Like that's what cryptocurrency is an innovation on currency. It's the next level, right? And I think it's the people that are against innovation that are like, oh, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't care about cryptocurrency, and very like naysayers, right? Or like critics for cryptocurrency. But the thing is, like, that is the future, because and also like the transfer of, and like most money I think now is like more digital than actual cash. Like no one really carries cash. I've
been using actual cash for a while.
Like you pay people through like Venmo and
exactly,
shit like
pay on touchless Apple Pay. You know, it's just,
and you could really make, or the government is now just making money out of thin air. They're just like, you know what, let's add another zero to this account, and we're okay. We got more money to give out through stimulus checks, through whatever, right?
Literally.
There's obviously consequences to that, right? But yeah, cryptocurrency, the thing with it is it's all based on belief, you know, just like regular currency. The reason you accept if you're running a store, you accept a $10 bill is because you believe that you can use that $10 bill elsewhere, right? And that's the next hurdle for cryptocurrency, is that people believe that you can exchange this currency for things of value, that I can go to Walmart and buy myself a 6-pack of Mountain Dew or Gatorade, right?
With a Bitcoin.
With Bitcoin. And that's the first coin that actually implements something of that nature is the coin that wins, because as soon as people, because right now, like, there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies, right? Like Dogecoin or Dogecoin or whatever, right? Like, by all means, people are making a lot of money, right? But as soon as people want to cash in on that money is when the trouble comes, right? Because you're like, hey, I just made $10,000 with this coin, but I want to start using this money. If you can't use Dogecoin to buy things, then you're gonna have to liquidate it. You have to exchange it for dollars, right? And as soon as people start exchanging that currency for dollars, then that's when the value of the shit goes down, because in a sense you're gaining that coin has power because everyone pays into it. But as soon as people are like, hey, I want to use my money for a vacation or do these things, you start taking it out, the value of the currency goes down, right? And that's something that will determine the next currency, or the leading market currency, right? And that's something that can and absolutely I think will happen with all these different cryptocurrencies. As soon as people start wanting to cash in, and they do it in waves, right? The coin just goes to shit, and you're like, well, now this coin is worth nothing again, right? So it has to be based on the belief that it can be used at one point. And that's one thing that Bitcoin does have going for it, is the fact that there's like actual companies that are willing to like barter with it, right? In the sense of like they're willing to accept that currency. So as soon as whatever currency gets to establish that marketplace of like, hey, you know what, you could buy like Tesla. I think you could buy it with Bitcoin now, which is cool as fuck. But like you could buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. And as more and more companies do that with cryptocurrencies, whatever cryptocurrencies go into those areas is the ones that's going to kind of win, you know. But yeah, it's all interesting, and I think everyone should be looking into it. Definitely. Just like you are, looking into articles, looking into what's going on with it. And I have a book upstairs that I'm gonna lend you. It's called Sapiens, and it kind of talks about those kind of things, right? And like how we came to be where we're at right now. And it has a beautiful chapter. I think it's like chapter 14 or some shit about currency and or money, right? And it's something that you for sure like. I know you'll like this book, so I'll let you borrow it and like take it, read it. Once you're done, give it back, or fuck it, you can keep it. I don't care. I'm all about like sharing knowledge, because I think
it goes a long way.
Yeah, and
it really
with
does.
Books, it's kind of crazy, but you get to like see another like someone put their, not necessarily their whole, I guess you could say their whole life, like they worked on making something beautiful, like a book, right? And the fact that you get to read it and learn from it is amazing to me.
That's someone else's knowledge you're learning from. That's why I'm just like that. Right. That again, going back to social media, like I wouldn't be learning about cryptocurrency now if I did not say I'm gonna stop using social media for a while, because I'm still gonna go back to it because it's fun. Yeah. But to be focused at this time, that's why all the stuff like cryptocurrency, that's the next step that I took. Like I'm gonna stop using Facebook, Snapchat,
bro. I'm
literally for a while, and then what is the next thing that I want to learn? Next is Python, because I'm learning. I'm learning more about MATLAB right now. It's another programming that UCCS uses, but a lot of people talk about JavaScript and Python a lot. And I'm just like, I have knowledge about programming words, but I still want to go back into how does Python works, you know? Yeah. Like what are the programming words that, I know you use Python, right?
I use JavaScript.
JavaScript? Okay.
Yeah. And C#.
Yeah, and like without me thinking about, I want to stop using social media, what's the next thing that I want to do, I would not even know what Ethereum is right now, because from me not using social media, I was looking at other stuff and like, oh, what is Ethereum? Ethereum Classic.
Bro, there's pros and cons to everything, and that's one of the pros of social media.
Yes, yeah.
You do learn things, or you spark your curiosity, you know? Because if you, in a sense, you could say you were losing money if you don't get on social media, which is kind of crazy. But the thing is, like, it's like 10% value and 90% junk, you know? And you gotta fucking suffer through the junk. You
Set
gotta
boundaries.
go through that, yeah. And you gotta, again, it goes back to that discipline thing. You gotta be like, yeah, I'm not gonna let this control me. I'm not gonna let it be the thing that, I'm not gonna let social media use me, because at the end of the day, that's why it's free, is because it's using you, and it's trying to gather more information on you. It's trying to advertise for you. You know, it's doing these things that are gonna use you, and a lot of people just don't. They're not aware, as we were saying earlier. They're not aware that that's going on, right? And it's such a easy thing to slip into, because it's pleasurable in a sense, right? It's a distraction. It's a comfort thing. You're like, well, instead of maybe reading, I'm just gonna lay in my bed and look at my social media feed, right?
I've done that a lot. I find myself doing that way too much during the day. Even at work, I will be. That's why I get distracted a lot, mainly because of social media. That's why I'm just like, no, I want to set boundaries at my work. And even my boss, I would see her sometimes, she's doing this, and
bro, it's even your parents. Facebook, man.
Yeah, it's like, I'm doing this, she's doing that. I'm just like, yeah, that's,
everyone is hooked.
Yeah, everyone is hooked. And it's just like, what, again, being self-aware of exactly what you're doing at the moment, and having priority for yourself. Prioritize
and loving
prioritize
yourself, because if you
exactly.
love yourself and you know the fact that it's not healthy. It's not a healthy lifestyle to live, to just be on social media, and I think it's transcended the whole thing of like looking at other people's lives now. I think it's gone to just like now you have other people that are actually, I don't know, because everyone, the thing with social media, it's all tailored to you because you choose what you follow, you know, and it's all tailored to exactly what you like, what you don't like, and that's the thing that makes it so divisive, is the fact that you are the one that's basically catering your stream, right? I don't know, man. That's something that I struggle with as well, and it's like I want to get better at. It's like not using social media.
Yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah.
It is tough, and it's also like a self-image. Like I've come to realize it, being completely honest, is like it is a self-image thing that sometimes you try to uphold. Like for you, like if we were to scroll through your social media right now, you're like a very fit person. Like that's what
That's
you're. That's the
90%.
image. That's the image you're presenting, right?
Yep.
And now you kind of uphold that internally or not internally. Externally, right? Now you're trying like, well, I'm this fit person. I say I am, so I gotta be fit. And I'm not saying that's actually like a better thing compared to other people's image, right? You're like, I have this image of like, I'm trying to make myself look good, be good, feel good type of shit, right? Compared to other people that are maybe preaching other things of like beauty or some shit. Like I think girls fall very much victim to it, where they're just kind of posting images of just their facial image and their like beauty, and not to like hate on it, and like I don't want to hate on it, but at the same time it's just constant like reinforcement of, hey, I'm beautiful still, you know. And at one point that's not going to be the case, and at one point like you're not going to be as fit as you are, you know.
Definitely.
Or like you're not going to be as able, and it's a tough pill to swallow, but at the same time it's like that's what social media does, is like it's like an image that you're trying to uphold. Like for me, is like I have my image is like of an adventurous image, right? Of like I'm doing adventures, and now I live kind of by it. I'm like, well, that's who I am. I gotta do those things, right? I want to be those things. I want to live by those things, and it puts expectations and boundaries in your life in the sense of like now you have to live by those things. Granted, some things are better, like being fit and like being active and like having a good lifestyle. Like that's by all means great. I don't think that's something for you to even like consider correcting in any sense like that. Keep on doing what you're doing, right? Because you're taking care of yourself, and by taking care of yourself, you're gonna make yourself live longer, healthier, have more energy in the future. But it is something to be aware of, the fact that like you do create these expectations upon yourself through social media. You know, it's like everyone sees an image, and not necessarily everyone, but you yourself. Because it's kind of crazy to say, but the person that looks most at my pictures, who do you think it is?
You?
Yeah. The person that looks most at the things I post is me.
Because we'll go back again and just...
Exactly. You look at it, you look at what you posted, the comments, you look at the captions that you put on it, right? Or at least, I won't say you will, I'll say I will, right? And that says something, you know. It says something about what social media has done, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that like looks the most at like the person that looks most at their stuff is you. You know, like the one that posts things. You know, you might put so much effort into posting something just for people to scroll by and not really care about it, compared to you're the one that really does care about it and the one that really looks at it. So yeah. All right, but apart from that, let's go on some rapid fire questions to close this thing off.
Definitely.
Put it on a bow and get you going with your Saturday. And Mother's Day is tomorrow, so everyone
remember.
Yeah,
that's exciting. Exciting.
I wish I posted this, or I could post this immediately, or it was live to tell everyone to go wish their moms a happy birthday or happy Mother's Day. Sorry, not happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy Mother's Day, because mothers are very selfless. I think everyone can admit in saying that mothers will give up everything to ensure that their children have a better life, and I think at times we just don't take care of them as much as we should. So everyone, go give your mom give her a call, give her a big old
Definitely.
hug if you can, because you know how life is. Life is short, and at one point we won't have those things, so we have to be grateful for what we have now, and we'll appreciate it. You know, you gotta appreciate and be grateful for what we have right
Everything.
now. Moms, dads, grandparents, everything, man. It's something that even myself I try to work on, right? Or try to reach out more to my aunts and uncles and try and do these things, but social media is a bitch.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it crazy that you'd rather be on or not you. I would rather be on social media than like hit up my uncle, hit up my aunt.
I would do that any day.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've done that.
That's
too
fucking
many
crazy.
Times. Yep,
It's
I've
like,
done that too many
I could
times.
call my aunt right now and have a wonderful conversation. I could call my uncle, my grandma, my grandpa, but I'd rather be here sucked into this fucking phone
for hours.
Ah, God,
For, like,
it makes me.
hours.
It disgusts me now that I think now that I say it out loud. It really does disgust me that I said that, because it's true.
It's true. But
Fuck, that's gross.
It's what we're growing into. You know, like it's what we're seeing out there.
And it's so divisive too.
They make social media addictive for a reason. Because the more you're on social media, the more you're on the site, you make money. They make money.
Yeah.
The more you're on your site, they make money. So they make, like TikTok. A lot of people are on TikTok for I don't have TikTok.
I don't have TikTok.
But TikTok, they make it addictive. You know,
so addictive.
When you're thinking about it, like programming side, they show you what you want to see. Like,
it's learning about you.
Like the algorithm.
Yeah.
Like they're learning everything about you. When you like dogs, they will show you what you're going to be seeing on your feed is dog videos.
It's crazy that technology knows more about you than your family does.
I mean,
isn't that?
Yeah, because it's what you're putting out there. You know, it's the way they're programmed. It's the way, like, it literally is. Like,
it goes back to that God talk about like how previously God would be the only one that knows all your struggles because you're praying to God, you're asking God different things, but now technology is God, or Google is God.
They know more than
they
you
know
do.
absolutely.
Literally,
they know more about
stuff.
you.
I'm like, oh, I need this. Okay, advertisement. Oh, I for example, this case. I was looking for like a wallet case, like, and all of a sudden I keep seeing all of them. Like, oh, I need this. And then at the end of the day, I'm spending like a whole lot on just nothing.
Yeah. And the key word you said is need, right? I need this. Like, look around your house. Everyone should look around their house. What do you actually need? Like, these plants are beautiful. I don't need them. This table is beautiful. I don't need it. What do I need? I need water. I need food. And sunlight.
Stuff that to sustain you.
But like, we've come to be so we've advanced so far, I guess, that we've pushed ourselves to needing different things that we never necessarily needed. Now the fact that we are exposed to it, we can't go back. Like, as a society, we can't go back to hunter-gatherers. We can't go back to hunter-gatherers. We can't. Like, that's such a tough thing to do.
We just feel like, why need hunting and gathering when you can use synthetic cabbage?
Yeah, and we have guns. We have so many things that, like... Also, like, if we were to drop any of us, as much as we want to say that we would survive, like, in indigenous part of the world, right? It would be tough for us to survive.
Definitely.
And it's because it takes a tribe to try to survive. There's people that are in charge of water, in charge of fire, in charge of hunting. There's people that are in charge of gathering food, in charge, there's certain things, right? And we've lost a lot of that. But that book that I'm going to recommend to everyone, it's called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. I will let you borrow it after this. And please read it, bro. It's a fantastic, awesome, brief history of human mankind to where we're at right now. I guess pertaining to all the details that are relevant to you right now. And he's got another book after that. It's called Homo Deus that I also recommend everyone read. But okay, rapid fire questions, because the day is beautiful, and I think everyone should be able to go and enjoy it and be with those people. So, quick answers. We'll try not to go deep into it. Who is your current role model?
My current role model, to be honest, definitely has to be my girlfriend for now.
Okay, what's her name? Speak it into existence here.
Her name is, well, everyone call her Vic, but her actual name is Akuvi Chinau.
Say it one more time, please.
Akuvi Chinau.
Akuvi Chinau.
She's from Togo, and it's just her ambition to do a lot of things, you know. Like yesterday, I was telling her, like, do you ever rest? I'm not joking. Like, she just wants to do stuff. She just wants to be busy constantly.
I feel like I should have interviewed her now. I was like, shit, I got the wrong guest.
I definitely would talk to her, and I feel like she's always wants to be doing stuff to keep busy. Yeah. You know, and I'm just like, rest. With me, I'm very important. Like, rest is very important to me because that is what channels my brain to get back to it. You know, personally, with, again, knowing my body, I know myself. Just because the next person is working hard, and not having rest, that's what works for him, for them. That's what works for the next person. What works for me is knowing that I'm sometimes, like, when I need rest, when I know my body needs rest, I rest. That's what channels my brain, and that's how I recover the next day. It's just that rest. But with her, it's just, she's so motivating with everything, you know. Like, it's just, she just wants to do this. She just wants to clean. She wants to finish her homework, and like, her homework will be due in 2 weeks, but she wants to finish it now.
That's
like,
there's something. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess I don't know necessarily, but like, burnout is for sure a thing, but it doesn't seem like she has that. She's like transcended that, because for me, I'm like, that's an easy way of burning out, right? It's just like, you're constantly working, you're constantly cleaning, you're like, your mind is never at ease. And I think that's something that, again, Buddhist culture, to bring that up again, kind of tries to embellish and or tries to promote, is the fact that we want not peace of mind, peace from the mind. Not peace of mind, peace from the mind. And I think that's key for everyone to understand. It's like, your mind fucks you up 100% all the time. All the fucking time. Like, it will run you crazy. It will give you anxiety. It's like, why aren't you better? Why aren't you clean right now? Why aren't you doing something? Oh, you're just relaxing. You're being lazy, you know? Like, and as soon as you can learn to remove your mind, and that's why meditation is so key to life. And I think a lot of religions carry the same ideas, because praying is very much like meditation, because you're focusing on one thing, on reciting a prayer, right, and like saying a prayer, where meditation is also focusing on one thing, and that's just, for one, just being focused on your thoughts that are going through your head, and just trying to focus on what is in the present around you, and just trying to have your mind be clear, focused, just, or not even focused, just not disturbed of anything else. And I think that's something that, if everyone had, in a sense, it's kind of scary though, because I would say that no one else you wouldn't have ambition, because you're just like, you're content. Like right now, why was not to be content about your life? You have your heart is beating, you're alive, you're good. You know, there's people that died today, this morning. Someone fucking, millions of people died. Yeah,
especially in India. It's just, right now in India, people are dying every minute. And every minute.
And that's the thing that sometimes people, as much as everyone has problems, right? Everyone has problems. Everyone has certain things that they fucking hate, and they're like, oh man, this is fucking crap. Even myself, I think at the start of this podcast, I was like, man, I really hated myself for these certain things. But at the same time, like, you're such an awesome person that, like, And also, I shouldn't care if you hold it against me. You could be like, yeah, man, this dude.
Because you needed the rest.
This and that. Yeah,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
You needed it. Like, it's the
absolutely.
rest that you needed. So with me, like, you were sleeping. Of course, that is the rest is what you needed. That's why I'm just like, I wake up too damn early.
Dude.
That's what I think. I wake up way too early. Sometimes I'm like 30. I can't go back to bed. As soon as I wake up, I'm awake. And I go to bed like 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. And my body is used to that. So, like, it's just consistency with that.
Yeah.
But with my girlfriend, it's just, with her, she's a go-getter every single time.
And you are who you surround yourself against.
Exactly. That go-getter mentality, I've been seeing that in me as well, because every single time it's like, oh, she's doing something new. I'm like, okay, maybe I should do something new too. Maybe I should do something. So every single time, like, I'm learning new programming words.
You're a fucking powerful couple, bro. I'm scared.
Every single time she's like, I'm learning this. I'm like, okay, maybe I should learn something too. Like,
yeah.
Like, especially like with credit wise, like, there's always something new to learn. Every single time I want to learn about something where it has the credit, I go to her. I ask her this.
The paradox to that, though, is like, you're never content with yourself, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is, I don't think it's okay. I think we should, because that's the, I won't say silver lining, but like the thing that sometimes gets missed in that whole self-improvement mindset is that you are self-improving because you don't think you're adequate at the time, Yeah. And I think everyone is adequate with just the body themselves, like, like we should all try to learn to just be content with what we have right now and who we are right now, but at the same time, like, that's what I'm saying, like, and that's where the mind starts to turn, right? Because your mind wants to be like, well, I want to get better. I want to improve here. I want to get better, right?
Man, it's like that society.
And if you remove that contract of your mind pushing these things internally, because your mind is telling you to do all these things, right? It's like, yo, we got to get better.
Yeah.
And just saying getting better, improving yourself, working out, it's just admitting also at the same time that you're not good enough right now. I think mentally, though, if we can convince ourselves that we are good enough right now, but you're just doing it, I guess it's hard to say it, right? Because, like, it's at one point, like, you could easily just be like, I'm just gonna be a fat slug that's just gonna be like, I'm happy, I'm doing. I think that's why they portray Buddha in two different senses. I don't know if you've seen Fat Buddha, right, where he's just like super satisfied. And then there's also a fasted Buddha, like a Buddha that's just skeleton almost, like he's just skin and bones, right? So there's two sides of it. But I think at the end of the day, it's just like, if we could just try to, like, use our mind to focus on right here, right now, not the past, not the future, just right here, right now.
That's hard.
It's hard, dude. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say, though. It's crazy to say that, like, if I was to tell everyone or tell you or whoever's listening is just to focus on what you're doing right now, that only lasts like 10 seconds. Next thing you know, you're thinking about what tomorrow's going to happen. All right. So if you were to give yourself advice 5 years ago, what would that be? So it's 2001, 16, 2016.
Be more responsible.
Be more responsible.
And know your friends.
Because
2015, 2016, I was hanging around people that smoked a lot.
Okay. And you didn't like that?
At the time, it was just like, oh, I'm young, I'm living life and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't even do all of that anymore, but it's just, I hung around with them without knowing that, like, it's not what I wanted. I'm just like, because I'm having fun, I wasn't thinking of being responsible of my time, and I wasn't respecting my own time, So that set me back a lot when it comes to, like, education, when it comes to just being confident, and when it comes to, like, just because you know someone doesn't mean you have to be around them. You know,
Dude, that's
like just because you're cool with a friend doesn't mean like, dude, I'm cool with you, but the way you take yourself, you don't respect your time, you don't respect the way you take yourself. Like, you're not, you're just not the person that I want to be around. I respect you as a person, I like you as a person, but when it comes to my time, I don't want to use my time like how you're using yours.
dude, that hits hard right there.
Like that way, like
yeah.
I don't, I have friends, but not to the point where I want to spend time with them, because I know myself and I know what I want to use with my time. So
it's because time is the most valuable resource, bro.
Out of it's 2020, 2021, and it's just like, damn, if I used that time like a year or 2 years, I used that time for something else, I won't have regrets about the time that I used with those like.
But you learn from those times. That's the thing I think sometimes gets missed, even though you're like, damn, I could have been learning something new and everything, but you kind of did learn something new in the sense of like how not to be, or how not, what something you don't want to be like, you know. So I think that's kind of how we like, you kind of are. I'm starting to get away from attaching a negative or a positive thing to events in life, right? Like, and what I mean by that is like, I never deem an event as like that was negative and that was positive, or because until I'm dead, then I'll understand whether something was actually negative or positive in my life, right? Because you don't know what that'll bring you. But imagine if you didn't know that life, right? If you didn't hang out with those people, then you wouldn't have known that that isn't something that you don't want to be like, right? You're like, I don't.
That mindset now.
Yeah, because you kind of learn from all those things, and I think it's something that I try to do in my life, is always try to look at something in the sense of like, what did I learn from it, right? There's always something you can learn from something. From today, as soon as it started, to even yesterday, there's something that I can learn about and improve upon myself, right? And I think it's that self-analysis that everyone should try to implement into their life, of being like, why did I do that? Or like looking into things like, what did I learn from that, right? Like, not making everything necessarily seem like a time waste, because the mindset of like, oh, that was a waste of time, will make it a waste of time. But if you look at it like, okay, what did I learn from that? Or like, what is something that I can take away from that that will benefit me? And then I guess the next question would be, what has been one of your biggest failures in life?
Biggest failures? Oh, wow. Honestly, not being like when it comes to being intellectual, I do feel like, oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Not learning as much, or not putting as much time, like freshman year, sophomore year wise, not putting as much time in school, like or not being the best I could be, starting like my adulthood, graduating high school and stuff, and I feel like it's tough for an 18-year-old to know exactly what the 18-year-old wants in life, So my biggest failure, I just feel like the friends that I hung around.
Damn, okay. That made an impact.
Yeah. That's the biggest, I have to say that. It's just the biggest impact when it comes to my biggest failure, because the friends that I was hanging around with, that's what that's right now, I don't want to hang around a lot of people. That energy, the energy of other people that are not aligned with yours can mess you up a lot. And that I feel like the biggest failure is just giving that energy that I have giving it away and not taking it for granted. You know.
Absolutely.
Like.
And you do have a very present energy that I feel with you. You know, like there's certain energy that just makes me want to not necessarily change, but want to like work on myself and be better. You know, and you bring that like in a positive way, of like it just kind of you don't even know it, but it's like this glow that you have of like, yo, like you're doing something good, you're doing something positive, and like if ever you feel doubt in yourself, like not even knowing what you do day to day, like just from a simple interaction like this or meeting you at the gym, because that's kind of crazy, that fact that I mentioned just at the gym you were doing those fucking
the gym is my happy place.
The temple.
It's literally like you will see me like literally swaying, like dancing, like it's the happy place, you know, like, and I feel like I don't care what anyone says, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I would not allow you to destroy my energy because your energy is not where you want it to be.
The first time I saw you were doing flag pulls, bro, and I was like, this dude's fucking tight. I had to come up to him. I was like, yeah, what's good? I was like, how do you do this, bro? Let me try to learn how to do flag pulls.
I'm just like like excited, and especially in the gym, because the gym, even in high school, like I had strict parents. Like they were tough,
hard asses
on me. I would have track from 3:30 all the way to like almost 5:30, and my curfew was 6 o'clock. I was late, 5 minutes late home, and my dad was like, "Why are you late?" I'm just like, Jesus Christ, 5 minutes. It's just like, so a lot of times the only place that I'm like truly happy is in the gym. So that's why I'm just like, I don't care what people think about me in the gym. I'm not going even anywhere from now. Like, I have certain energy that makes me feel good. And if people try bringing you down, I just feel like, hey, don't bring me down because your energy is not where you want it to be. Don't make me feel like I have to be on your level so I can feel bad about myself just like you feel bad about yourself. You know, like,
so real. That's real. That's fucking real statement. Right
that
there.
Is real. People will make you feel bad because
they want to make themselves feel better.
Exactly. Like, no, I'm not allowing anyone to do that to my energy.
Protect your fucking energy.
Exactly.
I think that's something that's been like,
it's there, man. It's very, very important.
Yeah, and that's something, for one, like, you know this, and I think something that I'm starting to learn is also you have to be aware of people's energy and like also respectful. Like, for me, like, I in a sense have this kind of like I have in my mind of like a sense of like I disrespected the energy that you brought just from the start, you know, like I'll do whatever I can right now to make it better, but ideally, like, internally I'm like, fuck, I know I really am not at my fullest potential because I know I'm a better person than what I am today or what I was today, and even how I exhibited like my communications with you of like, hey, you know what, I should have been the one that was like, yo, tomorrow meet at my place at this place. You shouldn't have to been the one that initiated any of those conversations.
I was excited. That's the thing. If I'm excited about something, I go for it.
And that's dope. And that, like, I really appreciate that. And I think right now I'm like chewing away or like burning some of my loyalty or authenticity that I built with people, in the sense of right now, right? You're like, hey, Eric's fucking tight, or like this is what I assume.
He hasn't changed.
It's like Eric's cool. Eric's a cool guy. Changed. He has these things that like qualities and like, but now I'm like chipping away at that like mole or the core that I have, right? Where I should be building upon it, and that's where I mean, I want to be as vulnerable and as truthful in life as possible, because I think truth is the the freedom of anything, right? I could be free because of speaking truth. And for me, like, that's something that, like, I've come to realize. I'm like, I don't feel 100%, you know. I'm not there. I'm like, I lack some things. But I think it goes back to that awareness thing. It's like, I'm aware of it, and I'm going to do something to change that, to get better, you know. Because as you were saying, like, I have to respect your energy, because you are protecting your energy. I'm protecting my energy, right? And your energy has value, just like my energy has value, right?
100%. Yeah,
and it's very disrespectful in my eyes, the fact that, like, I'm not respecting your energy. And I think that's something for me to keep more in mind in saying that, like, dude, like, that was not cool, you know. Like, I want to be a person that, like, respects your time, because I know that time is something that is very valuable to everyone. Like, definitely. You could be doing a lot of different things right now, but you're here in my house and talking and conversating, just catching up, right? But time is something that we can't give back. Like, I can't give you back these 2 hours. Like, I wish I could. I wish I could snap my fucking fingers, but I can't give you that back. But last couple things, right? What's something, if you had a genie wish? Let's say we had a fucking, what the fuck is that shit? Like, the magic, is it a lantern? I forget what it is.
Let's call it a lantern.
We'll call it a lantern. Let's I know it's not a fucking lantern. But let's say you had a fucking lantern. Genie came out. What are you wishing? You get 3 wishes.
To have the knowledge and infrastructure enough
to be all knowing. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, to have that knowledge that I want to build this thing for my community, and I can just know exactly what to do, because I don't have that right now. I don't have the I don't have the enough knowledge to say I want to do this, and I know exactly what to do. And I just feel like a lot of people do not. Even Elon Musk, like he no matter how smart he is and stuff, he still have people to help him build the Tesla and SpaceX, you know. Yeah. Because if is all knowing, you know, knows every knowledge ever to do something, he would not need all the engineers that he has right now to build the cars, all the mechanics that he has right now to build the cars and stuff. Like, even what to call Microsoft or Amazon, they had people to help them out, you know. Yeah,
it's not a one-person show.
It's not a one-person show. So if I had a wish, it's just knowing that I know exactly what to do to build this, you know, and not having to wait for other people's time and money to build it, because that is the biggest thing right now. It's just, I know my vision, I know what I want to do, but that step in to start it is just like, it's just like a brick wall, you know. For now, it's just like a brick wall. So like the connection, you know, it's right now, it's like, it's not about what you know, it's about the people that you know. Even that's just messed up.
The concept,
the concept is like,
but it goes back to the fact that humans are where they're at because of community, you know.
Exactly.
Homo sapiens as a whole is
100%.
We are who we are because community, family brought you where you're at. So like, we do depend on those other people, and sometimes, because I've taken different ventures, right, and like trying to like build an app for myself, and like I'm like, dude, I know the best fucking app, I have the best idea,
exactly,
but like building it yourself is way tougher than asking for help. And I think that's something that I would try to encourage you to do more of, is trying to ask for help, because for me, that's something that I fucking suck at, is asking for help. I do suck at that. But like sometimes like asking for help, like collaborating with people, like, yo, I'm trying to build something, I'm trying to like find a way of making solar panels cheaper, you know, like I need help. Saying those words, I need help, is probably the the biggest eraser of ego ever, because most of the time ego is like, oh, I got this, I know how to fucking do this, I have to be able to do this, I'm not gonna ask for help. But a clear indicator of someone who doesn't have ego, or I guess I don't want to say clear indicator, but like some indicator is saying, hey, I need some help. I could use your help, you know? I think that's something that everyone can use, right? And it's also finding the right people that have the same passion and same vision as you, right? But at the same time, it's something that everyone can use. And for you, in a sense, you kind of do have your girlfriend, you know, and that's super awesome that you have this other soul in life that does motivate you and drive you, because...
Definitely.
And I think asking for help is tougher than it sometimes seems.
Yeah, and I'm not the best at asking for help a lot, because I've seen my mom do a lot of things by herself, and just for us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that just always in my head, like, if she can do this, like...
You removed yourself from the equation to make her life better, in a sense. Yeah. You're like, hey, if I can remove one mouth you have to feed to make your life better, that's what I would do. And that's...
Yeah, so I'm just like, I can do this. And it's been stupid tough.
Yeah, I wouldn't
really
fucking
tough.
doubt it, bro. I wouldn't fucking doubt it.
It's just like that. I need help. That's definitely, and I feel like that's what a lot of people do.
You have to be vulnerable with it, because
exactly.
As soon as you say that, you admit that you're vulnerable. You're like, damn, I'm not impenetrable.
And everyone is vulnerable at some point in life. So at some point,
you have to kind of, sometimes it goes back to the truth thing, right? You got to be able to admit the truth, because that's the truth. No one's fucking impenetrable. No one's perfect. No one's a god, or else we wouldn't. We'd all gods. Fucking be like fucking at their house, at their fucking lawn, you know, just fucking praising at it.
True,
but
that's true.
No one's a god, you know. You got to just be okay with being a human. I think humans make mistakes. Humans aren't perfect. And I think everyone deserves some slack in their life, you know? Sometimes we do hold ourselves... And that comes with that self-improvement lifestyle of like, oh, I gotta be better. I gotta work out. I gotta read fucking 12 books a year, or like a book a week type of thing. You know, it's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves, sometimes unintentionally, because... I don't know, sometimes it almost seems like we're robbing ourselves of that peace, you know, because that peace of mind.
That's true.
Because in a sense, like, we have everything you desire right here, right now. Like, you could wish for money, you could wish to help everybody else. But in reality, like, it almost comes down to, like, your own psychological issues of, like, why do I want to help other people, you know? Like, I don't know if you've ever asked yourself that question, but now, this is the first time I think I've ever asked myself that question, because I also feel like I want to help other people, but... Like, why do I want to help other people? Then you have to ask yourself, why'd you say that? And, like, why, like, kind of get to the root of things, right? But, yeah, no. Oh, what's something that you want to tell everyone? Something, like, if you were to put a billboard up that everyone can see, what's something that you would wish everyone can do?
Right now, with, like, just with the COVID and stuff, you know, trying to get out there and stuff, just... reevaluate things, you know. This COVID thing has been a blessing and a curse in many, many ways. A blessing for me, as in I've reevaluated, like, how to use my time, you know. Like, you're indoor and all you want to do is just, because the beginning of the pandemic, all I want to do is just sit and not do anything, because you're just at home constantly, you know. It's just... try to have your own time a lot of times, you know. It's just no matter what, how many times you want to go out with friends and everything like that, try to reevaluate what you're doing. You know, that I feel like that's what brings people to the point where, like, they don't regret a lot of stuff in life, you know, when you're just going full speed and not really thinking about anything else, you know. Just love yourself, think about, reevaluate your time and your life, and just make sure that, even though I do it a lot of times, just make sure that you're not bringing yourself down a lot during this time, like, everyone is just, like, so isolated and feeling so lonely a lot of times, you know. It's just just because you're alone doesn't mean you have to be lonely. You know, just because you're alone doesn't mean you're depressed. You know, that's just your brain messing with you. You know, with me, that's just my brain. A lot of times when I'm alone, I'm just like, oh, I don't have anyone to talk to. Like, no, that's not the case. You can be alone and still like have fun. Just know the person that you are. You know, a lot of times a lot of people don't really know the kind of person they are. You know, they just going off of other people's energy. You know, like you have, I mean, I'm not saying like don't have a lot of friends and everything like that. It's just know your friends. You know,
Yeah.
A lot of times people go off of other people's energy and they really don't recognize that. You know, so just know exactly how you want to spend your time. That's what I've learned. You know,
Would that be the billboard then? Know exactly how you spend your time?
Yeah, know exactly who you are, know exactly how you spend your time. Like literally,
I like it.
It comes a long way, because when you know exactly how you spend your time, you know, you're just a lot more aware.
Yeah.
You know, you're just a lot more aware of everything around you. So
that's something that everyone should try to live by and or implement into their life.
Yeah, because you're alone doesn't mean you're lonely, honestly. But
True.
That's great. Yeah.
True. I know. There's like a quote, or like there's a lot of alone quotes. I'm gonna put quote, but like I know there's people say like if you can master being alone with yourself, you have mastered like a lot of. Let me see. Standing alone is better than being around people who don't value you. And see, sometimes life is too hard to be alone, and sometimes life is too good to be alone. I guess sometimes like being alone is not easy. Sometimes like because I think people like sometimes like I could be alone, but you have your phone, you have your Netflix. You're like, oh, I'm alone, but like, have you ever been alone? Like,
Exactly.
Like in the sense of like you're camping, no technology, you're just being there, present. You know, I think that's a lot of people can't handle that. I know for a fact that I easily succumb, and that's something absolutely that I can work on is being better at being alone, because I don't think that's something I'm proficient and or excellent at. Right, is being okay with being just like, you know, I'm gonna be
it's
home.
Okay that's why like at
or like not have a phone. It's just like
At the beginning when we were talking about just me just going for walks and stuff like that, you know, that's my idea of like having my own time, you know. Garden of the Gods, Palmer Park, what's it called, the Incline. Like that is my idea. Like, you know, and it doesn't have to be physical activities, but my idea of being alone, like, it just resets my brain. When I'm running, I'm thinking about a lot of things. When I'm walking, I'm thinking about a lot of things. When I'm walking up the incline, I'm thinking about a lot of things.
Bro, I want to take you on some. There's a lot of cool people that I've met in my life, and I want to introduce you to them, and also like do cool ass adventures with you. So like, for one, like I still have to get better for my not injury, but procedure that I undertook. But this summer, I definitely want to do some 14ers and do cool.
Oh my god!
Things, bro. So
exactly, that's my first 14er. My friend,
backpacking, bro. Like, I feel like that's in your fucking wheelhouse. I know for a fact. And you are the type of energy that I would absolutely love to implement into a group of people that I've met. You know, there's certain group of people that you're like, that are awesome people, bro. Just like I know you are awesome people. There's other people that I feel like I want you to fucking meet and like go on adventures with. Bring Victoria, Vicky. Bring your girl. Let's do fucking like cool stuff. Like do 14ers. You know, push yourself a little bit outside of that comfort zone of being like, damn, like fuck, this makes me nervous, but at the same time, like you accomplish something and like you do it safely. Like it's cool stuff. So like, I think for me, that's what I want to not challenge myself, but like ensure that I make that happen. Is that like anytime I have an opportunity to do adventurous things, that I make an effort to extend the olive tree and or my hand and be like, hey, do you want to fucking do this? I'm not saying you have to go do it or whatever. Like, obviously there's things that you would have to like schedule around or whatever, but like I will make an effort to be like, yo, like let's fucking go do this fucking thing. Let's go hike this fucking cool ass mountain. Let's do cool things, right? And yeah, so I guess that's kind of the end of it. I missed out on the word of the day, but the word of the day is frugal. Frugal. Okay. Do you know the word? No. You don't know the word frugal? Frugal is characterized by or reflecting economy in the use of resources. Did you know those who are frugal are unwilling to lavishly enjoy the fruits of their labors? So it may surprise you to learn that frugal ultimately derives from the Latin frux, meaning fruit or value. It's kind of crazy because frugal, I could see it describing you actually very well. I'm going to find a different meaning or a different sparing or economical regards to money or food. Like, you're someone I could see that like would give up, like, even though you're hungry, you would give up a loaf of bread for someone else who is hungry. Or
done that much.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, fuck, I'm hungry as fuck right now.
Like, it's but the like, way, like, you know, in Africa, man, like, you're from Africa, you've definitely seen a lot of things. Like, people you just so feel sorry for that, like, okay, I've eaten today, but you haven't eaten anything in days. Here, just take it because I'm okay. If I don't eat for a day or so.
You're very selfless.
I'm perfectly okay. Just you take this. You need it more than me. Just like, for example, when I was working at what's it called? This home warranty company, and a lot of people steal food there. And one day they stole my food, and people were just upset. Like, why are you upset? It's not even your food. And I said this. I was like, if someone steals my food, they need it more than I do. And people
that's fucking awesome.
And people literally looked at me like, what is wrong with you? I'm just like, if you're from Africa, if you're from other, like, that's why I'm like, I thank God for being in this country.
That's such a cool outlook, bro.
Like, especially food, if someone steals my food, they need it more than I do. Period.
Yeah.
Like, it's food. You need it more than I do.
Everyone needs that mindset, bro. Like, and I hope this is gonna get, like, it's crazy because this conversation will go down in history type of thing, because not because everyone is gonna be like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever, but like, because you could listen to this one point, your kids, your grandchildren, if you choose to have that, like, will be able to listen to this and be like, that's my grandfather, that's my dad, whatever, right? And like, I think it's a different way of getting to know somebody, and that's kind of the thing I see with this, or the reason I even did this, right? The Eric Vargas experiment is just for one, to get to know people a lot better, because I don't think you, through casual conversation, right, at the gym, you're like, oh yeah, how's everything going? Oh, you got a new job? Cool, that's what's up. You like it? Yeah, I like it. It's hard or whatever, but you never really get to know somebody in those simple interactions. For me, like, this is for sure a very selfish thing, because I use it more in the sense of like trying to get to know somebody. I'm like, or want to get to know you better, and see if I can potentially learn something, or not even.
I'm learning.
Not even that. It's just like, if you have the right mindset, you can absolutely learn from somebody else.
Definitely.
But
that open mindset.
Yeah, I think just to wrap this up pretty in a bow, I loved what you said, and it's just like, if someone is stealing food from you, it's because they need it more than you, and sometimes you gotta take that and implement that same value, or not you, but everyone needs to implement that same value into everything that happens in life, right? There's tragedies that happen in your life. There's different things that occur, and you gotta try to find the learning lesson in it. As hard as it is to say it, and as hard as it is to make it happen, But yeah, I mean, for me, like, let's say injuries, right? Be like, yeah, that shit fucking blows. Like, it sucks. It definitely threw me off of my groove. But it shows that, like, I am human, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We are capable of making those mistakes.
I'm just gonna give you this pointers because that's it.
Please do, and we'll end it on that.
Yeah. After my injury, during my injury, like I just know that you need the rest. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You need that rest. During that injury, just know that. Just make plans. That's it. Just write down your plans. After my injury, what do I want to do? Do I want to do more rehab? And then after rehab, what do I need to do? I know it's hard, but just do it every day. Like, just write down your plans every day. That's it.
Simple, bro.
That's a lot of people do not write down the plan. They just go with the flow, you know?
Yeah.
But with me, I wrote down my plans and I wrote down exactly what I needed to do to get back to where I was before. Period.
Thank you.
I
will.
Yeah.
I have the resources. I have a notebook. I have everything to make that happen, and I will actually report to you in exactly what that comes from that. So I appreciate that. And I will. Whether it's simple as like tomorrow I'm gonna make breakfast.
It's simple.
Tomorrow I'm gonna eat a bagel or some shit.
Just know exactly your plans. Even when I during the pandemic, 2 months in, I was nearly 200. Nearly. Like, you couldn't see anything because I was eating whatever. I mean, I was still eating vegan stuff. It's just, I didn't care about what to eat, like what I'm eating. And then, like, seeing that, oh, whoa, later on, my plans literally exactly the food that I'm trying to eat. And from that planning, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take in this much, and that's why I got this watch too, because
he's referring to his Apple Watch.
Yeah, Apple Watch, because I'm like, I want to know exactly the kind of calories that I'm losing in a day,
and also like sleeping. I think also gets recorded.
And yes, and I've recorded. This is exactly how many hours I want to sleep, and this is the time. It sucked. It's not a fun process, you know. It will suck, but just keep going every day. That's literally it. That's the key. Just make your plans.
It's crazy to say, but it's just like, why does that seem so difficult, you know? It's just like, damn, I just got to write down like a sentence in a book. But for whatever reason, like, people always, because I know when I read certain things, it tells you like, oh, here's an exercise, like write down your 10 goals, and you're like, I'm gonna not do that. I'm just gonna skip it and go to and just read past that, right? Yeah. But I think there's something to be because I've never actually done that. I've never actually like written down things, never written certain things down. So like, I'm for sure gonna try that out. And next time I see you, we will have plenty more to share, plenty more experiences, and I know that we will grow, or we have the mindset to grow, and it'll happen. But I'm very happy and thankful for your presence, your person, who you are. Please continue doing what you're doing, because there's not a lot of people that kind of have the same energy that you do. But I think I'm a firm believer that if you keep on spreading what you're doing, and it's very contagious. It's like a virus in a sense, right? Your energy, your positivity, and I fucking love it. So keep on doing what you're doing, and next time I see you, we will have conquered some 14ers. We will have fun rock climbing. We'll do some
more rock climbing, definitely. Yeah. And I really thank you, for thinking about me in that way to just.
Yeah, no, I have a list. I think even in my whiteboard upstairs, I have a list of people that I have, or in my phone, I have a list of people, and you were automatically one of those people that was on that list, like. No questions asked. I was like, I have to have Felix.
I appreciate you for putting me in this, man. I was really excited because like I'm a podcast person, like, and like even if I have the chance, if I have the means to, I definitely will get into the podcast stuff. But I was really excited that you thought of me to, even if just like casual conversations like this, like to just be in that experience with you,
Yeah, and tell me now, like I think there's a lot of things we talked about today.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of things that people can implement right now into their lives and or different ways of thinking just through this conversation. And at the end of the day, I think it's, again, a selfish thing. And for you, I think as well, maybe you come out of this thinking something different about yourself, different outlooks, different ways of thinking. But that's kind of the focus with this and or the energy that I want to carry with it. So again, definitely. I'm very thankful of you, Felix.